You know what? The worst thing of this job application was that I got obsessed with some shoes they were providing, but I didn't get a job, so I also didn't get the internal discounts. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year! The first video of this year, I'm gonna talk about something about my Adidas internship application. I'm gonna go through the whole process, what happened in each phase, and why I failed from my perspective. So I made an infographic of it and let's get on board with that. So everything started at the middle of October. I received a school email and an online kickoff QA meeting was held, and one of my friends were there. I also checked his notes, and afterwards I just went to the website to look for my suitable positions. To be honest, their website is pretty nicely organized. It's pretty easy to find what you need. I was basically choosing from two positions that I can theoretically apply for: 3D shoe designer and product developer. One is more classic industrial design position, and the other one is more coordinative and complex in terms of daily tasks in a sense. Based on my curriculum now, I just think the product developer fit myself more. I move on with the product developer application. So the deadline was 21st of October and I was pretty in a rush. I only got that day to prepare everything, and Adidas actually asked for a special sort of CV thing. They said in the website that they don't want a traditional resume but a one-pager to express yourself in that way you want. Just the format has to be a one-page PDF stuff. I got started at very last day, so I had to figure out a way to do it, making it simple but not super time consuming, for which I made a poster of myself and linked a video on it. Since the video is pretty easy for people to gain information in an intuitive way from my perspective, especially thinking about making just an infographic of yourself in one page with beautiful graphic design and also clear layout of all kinds of self-introductory information. It's definitely easier for me to make a video and a simple poster, but of course you should decide what's your most hands-on skill sets. So moving on to 11th of November, I received an email from a phone call invitation as the first round interview. At the same time, my friend who applied for 3D design position got a task at first to design a pair of shoes rather than an interview. Just mention about it if you're applying for 3D designer. It's told in the email that they're going to focus on the motivation of yourself for Adidas and this specific job, knowledge about functional wear and Adidas, but also your potential questions. So afterwards, according to what they gave me, I started to prepare by collecting all kinds of material I can get from official website, online searching, course materials. Here I use Notion for gathering stuff into one place. It's just an amazing tool, especially for text-heavy tasks. If anyone from Notion is watching this video, maybe sponsor me. Also, I asked for some friends for feedback. No need for who are specialists. Just try to ask someone who you think is gonna help you. You can always learn something from others. Then I did the interview on 19th in the morning because I was given a chance to pick it up on Doodle. So I would definitely go for some late slots, but still in the morning, I feel I did a correct choice since the HR and me were quite hyped, like, you know, the morning vibe. The HR is an energetic and experienced lady. She doesn't have any strong accent. It was clear also because the media was on phone, so there's no lag and I can just focus on the talking and even browse my preparation whenever I need it. It was a classic structure. We went through some self-introductions and then the questions were around basically what they told me to prepare. There were something emphasized, I feel, like knowledge and impression about Adidas and a lot of things about sustainability. For sustainability, it was not something in depth, but pretty broad, what Adidas have done. So I'm pretty happy that I went through Adidas product lineup and paid some extra effort on certain ones like the Prime Blue and the Prime Green. Another thing I want to mention that is I set a lot of my connections with Adidas regarding soccer. All of those were my real experience, which I think definitely contributed to a decision making later on. Because I received the email from a product developer in the football team. In my fuzzy memory, I didn't really see the job was a soccer specific one, so it would be several paths, which means several different product development internships they were looking for. So this time I still asked for what they were going to focus by email for sure. The reply was getting to know me and my motivation for the role, and also spending a bit of time talking about some shoes. But that was not everything. I will cover it later. Then I started to prepare it. Here was something went wrong, which I need to use a Chinese phrase, 鬼使神差, like doings of ghosts and gods to describe it. I'm 100% sure I saw it was from the football team, this invitation. But during my preparation, I gradually forgot about it, so I spent tons of time on running shoes and other sneakers rather than soccer shoes, which made me pretty passive in the second interview. For some questions, I could do way better if I prepared, but unfortunately I didn't. Hence, I gave some answers based on half knowing and half guessing in the interview. I highly regret this even till now, like after a long while I'm talking about it. Just spend one more second to check, like what specific job you're applying for now. Wow, let's move on. So speaking of the content of the interview, we still introduce ourselves first. The interviewer were actually in UK. They told me they were in Man United Academic doing something like collaborations with some young players. Then they showed me 3 different kinds of shoes, which were a pair of running shoes, a classic lifestyle shoes, and a pair of soccer shoes. I was asked to analyze the differences among them, and then went deeper on the soccer shoe side. It was a lacelet one, you know, one of those Adidas flagship ones. And they also asked me about what my ideal football shoes are like in my mind. Then there were around 15 minutes we were actually talking about a lot of non-designer, non-shoe stuff, all about teamwork, like how to deal with all kinds of working traumas, what to do when there are conflicts, how to balance stakeholders, what to do when things happen that affect the whole developing process, etc., which I wasn't expecting but really makes sense to be asked. And then here comes the sentence. Yeah, so after around 10 days of the second interview, I received another email to ask for another phone call from the same HR who was going to announce my sentence. And you know, that was the end. They gave me 2 feedbacks. So the first thing was I had poor presenting skills. Well, I have to admit this point, I was pretty nervous and lacking of materials. So I was kind of thinking out loud when answering their questions. Well, that's not a great thing, for which I agree with this one, but they also said that I was too imaginary. I was pretty sad about the results, so I didn't ask what was it about, but I assume it was for the ideal shoes part. I'm not quite convinced, to be honest, because I asked when they pop up this question, do they want more imaginary or the other way around? They said fine for both, so I went pretty crazy ideas. Well, maybe they just want to give some feedbacks as they promised. Yeah, they mentioned at some point that if you got to an interview, they will give you some feedback for any results. Or I'm just looking for an excuse for myself. Who knows? And yeah, that's everything of this video. I really hope this video is gonna be helpful for you who are watching. I think I've learned a lot throughout the whole experience, and I wish what I shared can also teach you something. I'm not a teacher, but I really wish this is helpful, because I know how hard to find a job, especially when you want to get into such a big company. And don't regard me as a general person, because this is the end of my master study. It's the second year. I have to graduate, otherwise I need to pay more tuition fee, which I couldn't afford. So I wouldn't be qualified to apply for another internship in Adidas because they ask for students. So this is everything of this video. If you enjoy the content, hit like, subscribe and share it to someone. I will see you next time.